Aloha, it's Andara with Andara Hawaii. This is the Kaya Chronicles episode 2. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the chemistry and plant biology of the cannabis plant. So starting with the biology, there's this graphic that keeps showing up. And in that graphic, you saw how one of the plants was shown as like tall and skinny and had like sparser leaf growth, and then the other plant was like kind of shorter and denser with more dense leaf pattern. That's actually just a male cannabis plant and a female cannabis plant. It is not a hemp plant versus a marijuana plant or anything like that. I've seen that graphic kind of show up with different comparisons on like, hey, it's a different plant than this other one. And actually last week we learned, or in the last video, we learned that that's not the case, that all CBD oil comes from the cannabis sativa L plant. Just depends on which variation of the sativa L we're dealing with. And we learned that there's over 700 known variations of the sativa L plant, and I'm sure that's growing probably exponentially as we speak. So the cannabis plant is interesting in that it can have the plants of two different sexes, the male and female, or it can contain both sexes on one plant. The only difference is that the male plants look different than the female plants, as we saw in that graphic. So the male plants grow taller, they have a less dense leaf pattern, and the females grow shorter and bushier and have a denser leaf pattern. So then where is the CBD and CBG and terpenes and all of that stuff coming from? Well, the female plants create the trichomes, which are the bud. And on those trichomes is like a sticky residue, and that's called resin. And the resin is the essential oil of the cannabis plant. So the oils and the compounds that we're extracting and creating the CBD products are also found in the leaves of the plants and the stems of the plants. Not as highly concentrated, but present. And so it is possible to take the plant matter and extract the desired chemicals from the actual plant stems and leaves as well. So it's through a combination of both the resin, which is the essential oil of the plant, and the plant matter that the CBD, CBG, and THC can be extracted. So how do you extract once you get this soup of goodness from the plants? Well, the compounds in the cannabis plant are interesting in that they can withstand high temperatures and remain connected. So CBD can remain connected as it's exposed to high temperatures. CBG can remain as its compound as it gets exposed to high temperatures, and so forth. So the gas chromatograph, if you guys have ever taken organic chemistry, you can put like a whole big compound of mixture into that machine, and it will basically vaporize the sample and print out where the compounds hit as far as molecular weight goes. So molecular weight, if you'll remember the periodic table, each element has a specific weight. As they come together to create compounds, that compound has a specific weight, and depending on how many carbons and hydrogens and all of that are attached, the different compounds have different weights. So that's how the gas chromatograph is pulling the compounds separately out. The actual physical extraction from the plant and from the resin happens one of three ways. We have a CO2 extraction, which is a high pressure, really cool temperature extraction and requires special equipment to perform. And it's actually the way many essential oils are created from other plants. It's considered more expensive because of the equipment that you have to be able to do it. There's an organic solvent-based extraction process where essentially you run ethanol through the matter, and the ethanol will gather up and entrain all of the yummy CBDs, CBGs, and whatnot, and take it out. And then there is the olive oil infusion or carrier oil infusion, where you would actually put like the resin and the plant matter into the olive oil, allow it to infuse, and then strain it out. And so those are the different ways that you can get the actual goodies out of the plant matter. What you do after that depends on what product you're making. You may have to do another separation to like actually separate out the CBD, to remove the THC if you want to have a non-psychoactive product. Hey, I'm just in here editing, and I realized in that description between the gas chromatograph and the extraction processes that it got a little bit confusing. So I just wanted to clarify really quick. There's 3 ways to extract the oils that we're trying to isolate from the plant matter and resin, and that's the CO2 extraction, the ethanol extraction, and the olive oil or carrier oil extraction. In those extractions, essentially you are gathering the oils into a concentrated form, making a really intense essential oil. So a lot of products want to be THC free because we don't want to test positive for a drug, right? And so that's where the gas chromatograph comes in, and it's telling us at what temperature and weight each of the compounds is. So the CBD is at a certain weight, it comes out at a certain temperature. The THC is at a certain weight, it comes out at a certain temperature. So using that technology, you can then do something like steam distillation, where you take your essential oil and then you process it one more time, where you're able to isolate each of the chemical compounds that you're wanting to isolate. So CBD, CBG, terpenes, specific terpenes, and things of that nature. So I just wanted to clarify that for you, since it was a little bit backwards in my initial description. I showed in video 1 a graphic of the actual chemicals, CBG being the stem cell, CBD being one of the products of that stem cell, and then THC being the other product. And there's a couple other chemicals that are created from the CBG stem cell. But the exciting part is, for instance, the broad spectrum hemp oil that I use actually extracts the CBG, and there's a lot of study going on right now about CBG and its stem cell properties in helping to regenerate the human brain and the brain cells. So really exciting science and chemistry happening in that realm. So I hope this helps clarify a little bit on the plant biology as far as graphics are concerned, and then the chemistry on how the compounds can be removed from the plant matter. And so as we go along in the next few videos, I'm going to talk about the endocannabinoid system in our bodies, which is what processes these awesome CBD infusions that we're taking, as well as the bioavailability of the different CBD products. So look for that coming up over the next few videos, and I hope you enjoyed this and found it insightful. Have a wonderful day. This is episode 2 of the Kaya Chronicles, and I am Andara with Andara Hawaii. Aloha!